The last two major wars, Ukraine and Gaza, have seen a whole new section of weapons in action. Drones, unmanned airplanes, and even boats. So we are joined by Talin Bar, an expert in this kind of new warfare. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. We really have seen from all kinds of weapons, from really simple home kind of drones to very sophisticated airplanes. The battlefield is changing. Sure. The battlefield is changing and in front of our eyes, and we can see demonstrations from all over the world. From the war in Ukraine and the Houthis in Yemen and the Hezbollah in the north. And we saw some new development in hypersonic missiles from Iran. So, yes, we are now living in a very interesting and very vibrant and dynamic environment in warfare. And the major sources of these are mainly, what, China and Iran? Well, if you are talking about small drones, so Chinese companies are, of course, the first choice of the good guys and the bad guys as well, because you can get them free of limitations, let's say, online and on various other channels. And Iran, of course, is the main proliferator and provider of ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, UAVs for Hezbollah in the north and the Houthis in the south. And we saw the demonstration of Iranian-made ballistic missiles that were fired on Israel since last October. So this is a fact of life that we as Israel have to cope with increasing capabilities, and we are not competing or trying to defend ourselves just against the improvised vehicles, but from the very sophisticated and high-end weapons of Iran. Yeah. By the way, that includes sea vessels as well, unmanned boats. Yeah, I didn't heard about a specific use of unmanned sea vessels in our environment, but from the Houthis, of course, they claimed a great damage to a Greek vessel. And we saw Ukrainian use of such a system. And by the way, it was directed via satellite using a commercial Starlink constellation. So you can see a combination of somewhat crude vehicles like a small boat or a small vessel, unmanned vessels in the sea, and very sophisticated equipment of satellite communication constellations to navigate them. So this is, of course, a real threat that we will have to cope with. And we saw some demonstrations of small vehicles used by Hamas in early October.
آنچه در مورد ما میگویند